As Zoe leaves, Kain, you get up and kind of in a bit of a like irritative way, like you kind of stand up straight with a bit of irritation on your face, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm guessing decide we're having this conversation now.
Oh yeah.
All right. Then you quickly leave as the Crow Queen looks to Sif and Syphina, which Sif is here in spirit. Get it? Because he's a spirit. Anyways, he's the Rapid is here, but not here. As she looks to Syphina and Sif, she states, "This will be an interesting conversation that I'm about to hear."
Oh God.
At least you get to hear it. I'm not going to eavesdrop. I'm going to go to the library.
Is it eavesdropping when you hear everything inside and outside the cathedral? By not your own choice?
I have no idea how to answer that question, but it's a good question.
I think it's forced voyeurism at that point.
I am just very pleased none of my crows require intimacy with partners.
Wait.
Good
What
to
do you
know.
mean by that?
Interesting.
She kind of just stares from a like almost distantly as Sif gets up and goes, "Well, I will be," grabs a couple of biscuits. "I'll go to the library with you. I got a few questions."
Oh, good. Let me show you how this thing works. Just don't say anything insulting.
You mean how it's super annoying to get there? You have to go up a flight of stairs, down a flight of stairs, through a few hallways, past a bunch of bedrooms just to get to the front door of the library. As you guys are leaving the room, he's continually bragging on the architecture. All right. We will now shift over to Kain, catching up to a... Would Zoe be briskly floating away? Or casually
slowly.
floating away?
Slowly.
Slowly
Oh, that's
floating
here.
away. So you guys kind of get caught up in the hallway just before
As soon as
Guardian's
that door opens,
little
he's like
laboratory.
turning around and just she's right there. So you chose me first.
You kind of forced the issue.
Truthfully, I also wanted to speak privately, though. Probably not in front of Syphina.
Well, she's not here.
It's a pleasure to see that you're taking your your vampiric side more seriously now. Though I wish it was for more than just survival. But I understand the need to adapt or die. But this is more of your conversation, isn't it?
Kain looks like she is struggling for words. She's obviously not very good at emotions. It's not just for survival.
Oh?
I tried to make nice with her before now. And it's only just now that I'm finding out that I'm dying because we are split.
I see.
So no, it is not just for survival. It is because I am tired of seeing myself as a monster. Because I am not.
I told you that once before, didn't I?
You did.
I recall what you mentioned of your family and of the things that happened. I can only imagine the thoughts I'd have of myself. But I stand by what I said. I only know you for the actions that I've seen. And I don't see a monster.
Well, I am glad that you don't see a monster. Granted, of the 5 of us, the 4 of you, you were the last one I would ever expect to see a monster.
Well, that we can both agree upon. I mentioned briefly that humanity has not seen the actions that we've taken as quote-unquote good. However, morality usually stands aside when it comes to evolution. In some cases. Most people think we're monsters. That we do things evil. Though I don't see it that way.
Actually, I don't think morality has to be cast aside for evolution. I think in some cases it has to be considered for it. At least in mine. If what my other half has told me, I don't think I would have been possible if my father had not truly changed, had he not truly loved my mother. But I'm not necessarily in here to talk to you about that. I've categorized every single one of the party members. You and Trevor, you and Sif are the 2 that I don't really have to lie to or soften things for. I can be a lot more honest with Trevor as well, and we've already had our conversation. But I realize that I have kept my opinion on some things quiet.
Now's the time.
You are a very, very arrogant being. Yeah, wrong fucking character there. Zoe.
I am. I have to be.
I can't stand it. And I know the rest of the party can't either. I've just been a lot more quiet about it. You are hiding behind that arrogance. Just like I hide behind the silence and the brooding. You are a scared little boy who just wants his father back. And I really wish you would let that side of yourself out a little bit more, rather than hiding behind a mask of you thinking you're better than everyone else. Because we're not gonna judge you for your vulnerability. I don't care how you treat the rest of the world, but when it comes to the party, You need to knock this shit off.
Do you recall that traveler, the giant being we passed along the way? The one that offered to give us something if we had given up something of equal or greater value.
I do.
I think you are the only 4 people who have ever seen me shed a tear for anything other at all. I have given up more than I think you realize for this party. Now, that's not to say that I am not what you say I am. When I was only a few days old, I had my first dream. And our dreams are memories of that of our father. Test subjects didn't make it out of months, sometimes even weeks, of manifesting the memories of a being that created different species and watched the civilizations burn and die. People screaming out at the gates of our kingdom, attempting to take over the island. Continents split apart, islands formed, swimming in the stars and bathing in the sun. It's not for nothing. In some ways, I am more than just another person sitting on the street. I have pity for them, and I believe that they could be great. Look at our party, just people trying to bring value to something, to achieve a goal or vengeance for a fallen one. But not everyone is like that. The harsh reality of this world is that the strong live and the weak die.
Everyone in this world has a purpose, whether that purpose is simply to die or to do something great. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make one lesser than the other. It doesn't make one greater than the other. We all have a purpose within the balance of the world.
I suppose that's a way to look at it. And I do truly hope that those out there do strive to become better, whether it's learning something new or creating a new skill. That's why I'm here. But I appreciate your honesty. And you're not the first one. Trevor had a very direct conversation with me as well.
He's good at being direct. I'm not.
Oh. Trust takes time, and at least for the past, 2 days, I feel you all know me more than months ago.
You've done well in the past few days to allow what trust we had in you to deepen. I don't know how much the rest of the party trusted you. I'm sure I trusted you a lot more than they did. Simply because I kind of see a little bit of myself in you.
Well, naturally,
The
we are.
world... The world is going to look at both of us and think we're monsters.
They might. But maybe not.
Well, if they want to, let them. It's up to us to prove them wrong.
I told Trevor a similar thing that I will tell you now, too. I wouldn't trust me either. If push came to shove and I was faced with a decision to either free my father or potentially betray the team, I would have to choose my father. You're right, I do miss him, but not purely for sentimental reasons. It's for the greater good of this world. But I told Trevor if anything ever happened to where I put the party at risk, that he would have to be the one to cut me down. But I would hope if anyone could talk sense into me prior to that it would be you.
I have a question for you, but I don't want an answer. It's a question I want you to think about. What if, for the greater good of the world, your father has to die? And with that, she is going to turn and walk away.
What kind of thoughts are running through Zoe's mind in this current moment after that last question and this whole conversation?
I've been asking myself that question for a while now. We're all born to evolve, like caterpillars to a butterfly. All I know is I was created for the purpose of freeing him. However, I'm not in control of what happens after that. And if he were to give me anything new to follow, then I would have to do that. And I would, without a second doubt. But he's thinking also of rebirth and of the Crow Queen herself, and the fact that, how she is who she is. And that it could be a possibility. Anything is possible in the realm of imagination. As he finishes going to the corridor that he was headed to and opens it to go talk to Guardian.
Very well. We're going to move over to Syphina. As she enters the library, one second. As she enters the library, Sif is still talking, and then as the door opens, like, look, see, who puts books from floor to ceiling when the ceiling is so high you can't quite, bam, gets hit with a book, and is out cold.
I could heal you, but then you'll start talking again, so you're fine. You're not dying.
A pair of crows, white cloaked crows, kind of show up. They look down. The queen did say that this was going to happen. We're gonna take him back to his room.
I hope he learns his lesson.
Picks him up. The very few people we've seen visit this place and say these things normally don't. As carries them out back to his room. You are left alone in the library.
Okay. So, she's thinking back to the conversation she had with Kain before, when Kain was talking about dying, and she had offered Kain to drink her blood, and Kain said no, but that wasn't the first time Kane's been afraid to drink her blood, and she thinks there's more to it than that. So she's going to ask the library, what happens if Kane were to drink my blood, and if so, is there a way to make sure that I do not get turned?
Roll me a history check.
That is a 7.
Hmm.
Can I guidance that? I know if I won't do any good.
Yeah. If you got a 4, it'd be an 11. It might give you a better answer, because it's going to give you an answer, but depending on what you roll...
Nope,
it could
that's a
be...
1.
Oh, yeah, 8.
The library's like, no.
It looks like...
Trying to get that.
The library... how should I put this? There is a note, a piece of paper, a stack of paper, actually, and a quill. Suddenly the quill floats upward and begins to write a message to you.
I go over and I look.
That is not the actual question you wish to ask. It is worded incorrectly.
It is worded incorrectly. Okay, trying to think how I worded it and how to change how I worded it.
My best way of saying, hey, have another shot.
Okay, because seriously, I can't remember how I worded it, so I want to make sure I don't word it the same.
You'll just get the same answer if you word it the same way. Except for this time, it's like, didn't I tell you to reword it? Like...
Okay, maybe I should just focus on one question, because I technically asked 2. So... what effects would my blood have on Kane if Kane was to drink it or feed from me?
Roll a history check.
And a 14, I'm going to guidance that one. Or 15.
The quill begins to write again. The answer to this question is simple. Prolonged, painful death.
Okay. Well, that's not going to happen. Thank you. I have another question, which is, what is this? And she shows the tattoo on her arm of the assassin.
Roll a history.
That's a 17. Let me guide us that. See if I can... 18, 19.
Just a mark.
I do not think assassins would give me a tattoo just because... Okay. She's trying to... She feels like she's not getting any answers, and she's frustrated.
It kind of seems as if the library is giving you very direct answers to the exact wording of your questions. It may have heard that you might have picked up on it not telling the truth, and now it's telling you the exact answer.
What is this used for?
Roll a history.
16. 30, 20. 30, 20.
It writes out, to allow others in their order to know who you are and to know that you are an important target. Why and for what target means is deeper than a simple set of assassins.
Elaborate?
Roll history.
Ah, without guidance here, but I'm guiding anyway. Well, it's cocksided, so that's a 3. So 24?
24. All right. Hi. The quill begins to write faster, more words. It's hard to directly keep up with its writing, but it seems to be telling you quite a bit of information. As you start to read it, you notice the ink from top to bottom is starting to disappear, so you quickly read it. In the summary of what it says, this is no normal order of assassins. They belong to a cult that worships death in its entire form. They are a group that serve death in its entirety. The concept of the whole, not its parts. When you are marked as a possible candidate for death. Not to be killed, but to be tested, to be watched. And if proven to be more than a candidate, to be aided and protected. Some fanatics in this cult go farther than most, as they will go seeking the vessels of death, mark them, and attempt to put their life on its boundaries to see what happens. It appears you have run into a more fanatic members of this assassin cult.
I see.
It is not a negative mark, but I would not directly state that it is a positive mark, as other fanatics will attempt to end your life to see what happens.
Right. Alrighty.
Though it does mean, as it writes real quick, it does mean that other assassins that attempt to go after you are most likely gone. They don't let vessels be harmed by other orders. Though they do watch and see what goes on in their life and their adventures. If they die by a monster or other means, then they weren't truly a vessel. They carry specific blades.
What kind?
Writes down the soul-catching kind.
Can I do a history check on what that, if that sounds familiar at all?
Sure.
Doubt it. Anything about that. An 18.
Well, you've never heard of it before, but you're pretty sure that that means that if you are killed by the knife takes your soul.
Why does everything just want my soul? First of all, it was the cursed ring. Now it's a knife. It's just... All right.
The quill lays flat on the table. It's done answering that question.
You withheld the actual truth on the other question I asked?
It floats up again and says you are not ready. The event that is to come must be witnessed before I can tell you, and your party must be with you. Otherwise, the knowledge I will give you will go poorly for you.
Were those at least my parents that I saw?
Correct.
Can you tell me where Rebirth is?
Roll a history.
18, guiding seeing that for a 19.
As you ask that question, the table splinters into dust, and the terrain of the library disappears, leaving a barren, blackened, scorched landmass. In the distance, a black-walled city with a vortex of green and gray hovering above it. A tall spire sits in the center. As you can see, dark, black, winged, dragon-like figures soaring overhead. I would say more bat than dragon. If you've ever seen the rendition of Camazotz from, I believe it's Aztec lore, that's what it kind of looks like. This just massive, huge bats. As you hear somebody stepping out from behind you. It is the Crow Queen. She is in her black crow feathered dress and her crown-like mask. You can still see the threads, the green and black threads, and the blood dripping from the holes where the threads sit through. Clearly she's projecting herself here, not truly here. But you know this place. You've seen this, not this city, but you've seen this terrain before. This is the afterlife. You sit in the Keeper's domain.
What is that place? I know where we are, but what is that place?
The city of the dead, where souls wait to be reborn, or souls will spend the rest of eternity earning their right to be reborn.
And where's Reborn then?
She points her skinless finger. As you can see, one hand is missing the skin on 3 of her fingers as she points at the tall spire beneath the Keeper's throne.
How did this happen? Like, who imprisoned Reborn?
Long ago, there were gods among us, beings that were created by the Source Creator, much similar to our cousins, us older eldritch beings. They sit side by side us. Their jobs were to do similar to what we do for the eldritch, though the way they go about it is a bit different. Where we live amongst them, they lived separate. The source being of death, the concept of death for your side of things, thought it wise to separate themselves into 3. The Judge, the Keeper, and Rebirth.
Mm-hmm.
However, there were others made as well, children that were created by the gods and by their choices, the elementals and the spirits. These children were greater than the mortals by many ways, and some were reliant upon their belief to be created and empowered. They thought because they did not have a place in this world. Well, in truth, the spirits believed they did not have a place. The elementals are simple. They can be persuaded rather easily, and this is what happened. The spirits persuaded the elementals, and they decided to take the role of God for themselves. In doing this, there was the three, and the first step the spirits made to ensure they had enough power was to secure a power source. And simply creating more stories wasn't enough. Another way a spirit can be created is if a soul devours other souls. Then they can grow stronger. And so they made a deal with the current keeper. Much like yourself, the judge finds a vessel. However, the vessel for the keeper must already be dead. Think a king who is replaced by a new, and they become the king when they sit on the throne. The current keeper that still rules to this day is a greedy, hateful being who forced his way on the throne. Wanted more power, hated that they were below rebirth, and that they had to share the space with the judge. And so they did the only thing they could. Accept the deal. To give souls at steady flow to the spirits to keep them as strong as gods. But in order to do that, they needed to lock away rebirth. Not able to kill them, but able to seal them. Tricking the traveler, they were able to take some of his power and create a pathway into a small pocket dimension with no way in and no way out. And a coup started. The judge at the time attempted to stop it, however, lost their vessel in the process. So Tenelith had no power anymore. They had to watch as the realm of death fell into the hands of greed. They were pushed out and had to live as similar to spirits, walking alongside mortals, not able to enter their realm of death until a new vessel was made. And the keeper ensured that each candidate died quickly. And so, that is what happened. The keeper, alongside the spirits that you worship as gods, or your people worship as gods, are the ones who imprisoned rebirth.
So we both can be freed, though?
Indeed. If the traveler can be restored to freedom, that is a way. Or if the judge has a new vessel and a new keeper sits on the throne, their powers combined can break the plane open.
You said that you are the Eldritch side of things when it comes to judge, keeper, and rebirth.
Correct.
I'm certain it's not as simple, but it's not possible for the other side to do the same, have the three combined, or at least two combined, is it?
No. That is a rule of death. My function and control over death cannot go into this realm. I can walk its soils, but I cannot affect it.
No, I mean, if I was to become keeper, could I? Because if I was to become the judge, because I know I'm the avatar of Tinalith.
It is against the rules of the original source of death, and is not allowed. You would give up your right to be the judge and...
The judge. Okay. How can the traveler be freed?
The champion must die.
Right.
His death is the key to his prison.
Simple enough.
I do have to say something, though. I know what the library has hidden from you. And I know why. And you will learn it soon. As far as I can tell, the library has predicted a certain event to occur. But I want you to understand a few things. How the judge is selected for your side of things is not simple. It is a ritual that spans time. And 3 deaths must happen. And the first 2 must be at birth. And they must be siblings.
I know I died at birth. That's why I'm an Azamai. Are you saying that I have a sibling?
If you are the vessel of Tenelith, of the life side of Tenelith, you in fact do have a twin sibling who is the vessel for death.
Mikhail's vessel is my twin brother.
The sides of Tenelith do not carry names. Mostly they go by their vessel's name.
Where did Tenelith's name come from then?
Tenelith is a name given to both sides. Tenelith is a dual god. There is the life side and death side. Much as you look at a scale and you don't see different names for one side of the scale to the other side of the scale. You just see the scale.
So my brother's name is Mikhail.
Yes.
Just as my name is Syphina.
Just as your name is Syphina. And I also want you to understand another part that will come more clear when you see the truth. Many fates have been changed by one man's decision. But the old saying that goes around by the bards is, you either die a hero or you see yourself become the villain. The villains of your story, of all of your stories, not all of them are evil, but they are still villains. This goes all the way to the very end. No matter how evil they are, it is not black and white. But what must be done must still be done. And your party is fated with the decision that must be done over and over again to make happen what must happen, no matter how heartbreaking or how much you may desire not to do it in the end.
I don't know. Right. I mean, Mikhail was my brother, my twin brother. Sorry, but he's very annoying. I feel as though there's something else that I'm not understanding. But I know things are not black and white. I know that there is shades of gray in people. Even when Kain thought that he was a monster back then. And I kept hanging on. And I knew that it wasn't that simple. And I never think it is. Now, there are some people, I believe, that are more evil. Kalaster Black, for example, than others. But I always know it's not simple.
Kalaster Black's original desire was good. It was failure and the hatred of others that made him evil. Kalaster Black's original desire was to create something that could replace Geb's suffering. Something that could handle it, something that could free that elemental. But after several failures, and after watching the years of hate, the years of war, he lost his self. And he hardened his soul so that he could do what was needed by giving up his child to create what he did.
He gave up his child?
Yes. Kalaster Black was at one point wasn't the only black dragon. There was two. They had a child, but in childbirth, he lost his mate. He had to give up his child because it was the only thing that would give enough magic, enough power for the being that was to replace Geb's choice and allow nature to flow naturally again. But
And that's who we fought?
the child was indeed, as he called it, his child. But when he brought it to the king's original attention, the king branded it as evil and said that it would not work and that Geb chose where he was going to suffer and be imprisoned, and this was his choice, and it was their responsibility to look after the seal. I do have to make something clear. Geb is both an eldritch and an elemental.
Above table. Who's Gab?
Geb is another
I don't know his name.
Geb is another name for the elemental that Kain had to let Aster kill.
Okay,
Back in the
the
church.
person in the church.
The big
Okay.
creature in the church, yes.
Okay. I was just like, I'm thinking of one thing. I was like, I don't think that's a name for that. Okay.
No, it's another name for him. It's his eldritch name. Of course, the Crow Queen would only know him by his eldritch name, but...
I think so. Okay.
When he was told that it wouldn't work, he had to prove it. And he had to make the decision. The world was going to come to an eventual end because my youngest brother, who is the one who made the decision, his eldritch name is Geb. He is the earth. His flesh makes up the land, the mountains, and the Underdark. With his choice, it was eventual that he was going to desire it to end. And if it ended by his choice, then everything would end. Kalaster Black did come here at one point, seeking answers. And the library told him the only thing that was strong enough to truly make his plans work was a black dragon. But at the time, he had already made himself a lich, so his blood would not work. And to save the world, and to free Geb, which Kalaster was an avid worshipper, followed him. Most black dragons did in turn. Rot follows nature's growth, and nature's growth follows rot. So he gave up his child, and the child grew. It worked. The mind flares that we had sent, well, my eldest brother had sent, which was Zoe's father, managed to succeed in the development of the child. But at this time, Kalaster was already battling the corruption of the lichdom, and the king found out and ordered it to be destroyed. So to prevent that, Kalaster let go and let his heart darken, took control over Denza, and pushed things to proceed as they needed to. But eventually his corruption clouded his mind. It was no longer about saving mankind or the world or the earth, but about controlling it. Because if you control the being that is the land, you control everything. What you did was right in putting him out, but I do fear that his soul is not fully gone.
Really? I specifically tried to do that as judge.
You did, but a part of it was taken before you could, I'm sure. There's one sibling of Zoe's that is very particular in not letting go something that resourceful. I have no way to prove this is true. It is simply a hunch.
Do you know who the keeper was before they became the keeper?
I do not.
Alright, so we need to Kill the champion to free the traveler to free rebirth.
Or kill the keeper, put a new keeper on the throne, kill your sibling, become the vessel, become the judge, and then free rebirth.
Yes, we'll see which one happens first.
Your road definitely leads to the latter.
Okay. Well, I appreciate all these answers. It's quite a lot to take in.
It is fine. I do enjoy stretching the legs, even if it's spiritually.
I'm glad to give you the opportunity to do so. Perhaps we can have more conversations like this at times.
Yes. If this war does not bring me to lose my vessel.
We will do what we can to protect you and this place.
I do appreciate that. I must return. Some of my crows desire my attention.
Thank you.
I would not linger here for long.
I don't plan on it.
As a flock of crows bursts from her being, and she is gone.
I'm gonna take one last look at the city. It's like trying to memorize it and look around.
You can watch souls now that you're looking harder. You can see people being dragged into the sky, into the green vortex. Possibly offerings, maybe? Maybe the spirits are eating?
I'm not going to go investigate. I'm going to try to leave if I can.
The simple desire to leave, you find yourself back at the table. The quill is back in its inkwell and the paper is blank.
I have a twin brother. Mikkel is my twin brother. No wonder why he was annoying.
And with that, we're going to come to an end of tonight's episode. Bye. Thank you for joining another episode. And remember, everyone, every view, every like, comment, subscription helps us keep building these worlds, telling these stories, and bringing more adventures to the table. A special shout out to our players, our dungeon master, and everyone behind the scenes who helped make this show possible. And an extra thank you to our community. You support us more than you know. If you want to help the channel grow, check out our Patreon. Even joining the free tier helps support the channel, keeps you connected with updates, and lets you be a part of the Storyteller's Tales community as we continue to grow our channel and tell more stories. A huge shout out to our Patreon supporters and everyone who shared the show, commented on the episode, or told a friend about us. You help keep the dice rolling. And a special shout out to our Realm Shaper tier member, Lauren Sullivan. Thank you very much. And until next time, everyone, remember, tell your grandma. See ya.